Hi guys. This is so different than our normal class meeting, but I miss you guys and I really miss reading to you. So I sent your parents a copy of the online book in case you don't have one, but I wanted to finish the last chapter that we left off on. So we are on page 96. And I'm going to finish up that chapter, which will take us to chapter 11. So, enjoy. I really miss seeing your faces looking at me instead of my own face in the camera. But I hope everything is good, and I hope you guys are working. So, and reading. The man smiled. He touched the sagging flesh on his own face with amusement. I'm not actually as old as I look, he told Jonas. This job has aged me. Connection. I know I look as if I should be scheduled for release very soon, but actually I have a good deal of time left. I was pleased, though, when you were selected. It took them a long time. The failure of the previous selection was 10 years ago, and my energy is starting to diminish. I need what strength I have remaining for your training. We have hard and painful work to do, you and I. Please sit down, he said, and gestured toward the nearby chair. Jonas lowered himself into the soft cushioned seat. The man closed his eyes and continued speaking. When I became 12, I was selected as you were. I was frightened, as I'm sure you are. He opened his eyes for a moment and peered at Jonas, who nodded. The eyes closed again. I came to this very room to begin my training. It was such a long time ago. The eyes closed again. The previous receiver seemed just as old to me as I do to you. He was just as tired as I am today. He sat forward suddenly, opened his eyes, and said, You may ask questions. I have so little experience in describing this process. It is forbidden to talk about. I know, sir. I have read the instructions, Jonas said. So I may neglect to make things as clear as I should, the man chuckled. My job is important and has enormous honor. But that does not mean that I am perfect. And when I tried before to train a successor, I failed. Please ask any questions that will help you. In his mind, Jonas had questions. 1,000, 1,000,000 questions, as many questions as there were books lining the walls, but he did not ask one, not yet. The man sighed, seeming to put his thoughts in order. Then he spoke again. Simply stated, he said, although it's not really simple at all, my job is to transmit to you all the memories I have within me, memories of the past. You know, that actually has me thinking, because one of my daughter's teachers suggested that with the time off that you keep like a diary or a journal. I mean, this experience is not like any that any of us have ever had before. And it might be really cool to document your experiences so that you always have them to look back on to. Remember, your story matters. Sir, Jonas said tentatively, I would be very interested to hear the story of your life and to listen to your memories. I apologize for interrupting, he added quickly. The man waved his hand impatiently. No apologies in this room. We haven't the time. Well, Jonas went on, uncomfortably aware that he might be interrupting again. I am really interested. I don't mean that I'm not, but I don't exactly understand why it's so important. I could do some adult job in the community, and in my recreation time, I could come and listen to the stories from your childhood. I'd like that. Actually, he added, I've done that already in the House of the Old. The old like to tell about their childhoods. It's always fun to listen. The man shook his head. No, he said, I'm not being clear. It's not my past, not my childhood that I must transmit to you. He leaned back, resting his head against the back of the upholstered chair. It's the memories of the whole world, he said with a sigh. Before you, before me, before the previous receiver, and generations before him. Jonas frowned. The whole world? He asked. I don't understand. Do you mean not just us? Not just the community? Do you mean elsewhere too? He tried in his mind to grasp the concept. I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand exactly. Maybe I'm not smart enough. I don't know what you mean when you say the whole world or generations before him. I thought there was only us. I thought there was only now. There's much more. there's all that goes beyond, all that is elsewhere, and all that goes back and back and back. I received all of those when I was selected, and here in this room all alone, I re-experience them again and again, and it's how wisdom comes and how we shape our future. Remember, there's a difference between intelligence and wisdom. He rested for a moment, breathing deeply. I'm so weighted by them, he said. How many of you have ever felt like weighted by an experience or a memory or a feeling? Jonas felt a terrible concern for the man suddenly. It's as if the man paused, seeming to search his mind for the right words of description. It's like going downhill through deep snow on a sled, he said finally. At first it's exhilarating, but the speed, the sharp, clear air, but then the snow accumulates, builds up on the runners, and you slow, and you have to push hard to keep going, and oh, he shook his head suddenly and peered at Jonas. That meant nothing to you, did it? He asked. Jonas was confused. I didn't understand it, sir. Of course you didn't. You don't know what snow is, do you? Jonas shook his head. Or a sled? Runners? No, sir, Jonas said. Downhill? The term means nothing to you. Nothing, sir. Well, it's a place to start. I've been wondering how to begin. In their community, they don't even have hills. Not because the area just happens to be flat, but because, remember, their community is very safe. So they don't have any hills, it's all flat. Move to the bed, lie face down, and remove your tunic first. Ooh, this sounds really creepy, but don't worry. It's okay. Jonas did so, a little apprehensively. Beneath his bare chest, he felt the soft folds of the magnificent cloth that covered the bed. He watched as the man rose and moved first to the wall where the speaker was. It was the same sort of speaker that occupied a place in every dwelling, but one thing about it was different. This one had a switch, which the man deftly snapped to the end that said off. Jonas almost gasped aloud. To have the power to turn the speaker off. It was an astonishing thing. And then the man moved with surprising quickness to the corner where the bed was. He sat on the chair beside Jonas, who was motionless, waiting for what would happen next. Close your eyes. Relax. This will not be painful. Jonas remembered that he was allowed, that he had even been encouraged to ask questions. What are you going to do, sir? He asked, hoping his voice didn't betray his nervousness. I'm going to transmit the memory of snow, the old man said, and placed his hands on Jonas's bare back. Dun, dun, dun! And now we're on chapter 11, so if you want to read ahead of me, go ahead. I'm going to try to keep this up and read to you online. I'll try to post it to all the places I can post it to, because it's kind of a long video. And I hope you enjoy, and I hope you're reading. I miss you guys. Send my love to your families. I hope you guys are staying positive, being active. Exercise your brain too, not just your strong muscles. And don't be afraid to reach out. Send me book selfies. Let me know what you're working on. If you have questions, I'm here for you. Okay? Bye.